Hello everyone, Simon here, and it feels good to be back. As many of you know, I've been on a road trip across the country for the last couple of weeks, and honestly, it was an amazing time. Despite driving over 40 hours both to and from San Diego, California, me and my friends still managed to do and see quite a bit. For the first quarter of the drive, the country was fairly boring geographically speaking. It wasn't until we reached the panhandle of Texas did things start to get really interesting, when we seemingly drove past what appeared to be a small tornado. It was also cool to go down south near the Mexican border and see the desert, and I mean like legit desert, like nothing but sand dunes and maybe a cactus or two kind of desert. We also made it to the Grand Canyon, which was of course very beautiful, but amongst its grandeur I also encountered a con artist who swindled me out of 20 bucks. Kinda spoiled the moment. When we finally reached San Diego, I was stunned by how much traffic there was, like all the time. I had an idea that California was like super laid back and chill, but nah, it was just as rushed as any other major city I'd visited. Other than the crowds, we had a great time just being the biggest tourists you could imagine. I scared a bunch of gazelle at the San Diego Zoo. Got yelled at by a sea lion at SeaWorld. And of course, went on the virtual Animal Planet the Ride attraction known as the Wild Safari.
Now something you might notice about these cheetah is they have these black spots that run all the way up and down their bodies from their heads down to their tails. That's going to help the cheetah to camouflage. Now the way this works, keep in mind when you're looking at an animal or an object, you're going to look at the outline of its body. So if they have these black spots, that's going to help break up its outline, make it more difficult for you to tell what you're seeing.
We also visited a popular San Diego boardwalk, wanting to see the Pacific Ocean and eat some very fried food. While there, we met a very unsavory young man. He had come up to us asking for money, which was very common in San Diego because of its active homeless community. But unlike other similar encounters we had, when we declined this individual, he went ballistic. Let me quote from him directly for a moment. He referred to us as, fat, pale whales who sprouted legs and learned to walk around. It was probably the most unpleasant experience we had the entire trip. That was near our final day in San Diego, and our return trip seemed to carry on the unpleasant streak. Our first day into the return journey, we forgot to book a hotel, which wasn't a huge deal. We would just stop at an exit and get one, right? No. God help us, no. After driving for 10 hours straight, we began to look for a place to stay. Nothing. Not a single vacancy. Through 4 towns and 400 miles, not a single open room. By the end of the day, we drove for about 20 hours from San Diego to Colorado before finally finding a place to stay. It was 10 o'clock in the morning at that point. It was the most exhausting drive I have ever taken, but at least we were able to stop in Las Vegas. There, we ate at the famously fat Heart Attack Grill, and I got to play on an Ellen DeGeneres slot machine. Now, I'm finally back home, and what do I do on my first day back after a 40-hour drive? Get right back into making videos. As I'm sure many of you are aware, my channel reached 10,000 subscribers shortly before I left on my trip. And even returning home, the channel has already grown by another 1,000. In celebration of this achievement, I threw a contest in which the winner would receive an entire box of Dragons of Tarkir booster packs. And today, I will unveil the winner of that contest. But not in this video. Sorry, I'll have another video up shortly, but I'm gonna look at a lot of cards people have designed for me. That on top of all the other stuff I wanted to talk about would have made this video just a little too long. So stay tuned for the announcement fairly shortly. But, to tide you over, I thought I'd answer some questions submitted by you. So, here we go. What made you love Magic the Gathering, and do you plan on doing any other lore topics in the future? By Mr. Mysterious. Well, I fell in love with Magic when I was in high school. I was a nerd and had a hard time connecting with people, and this card game brought me into a community I felt comfortable in. As for future stuff, yeah, I'm planning on a couple of new lore series relating to other games I really enjoy, so keep an eye out for them. Where do you get your lore from? Now this question was posted by a lot of you, and usually my sources are Uncharted Realm articles. These are stories written by Wizards of the Coast which give you a lot of information on specific events or characters, and I suggest them to anyone who's a lore fan. Besides that, I also use card references and flavor text, along with the comics and novels for some older stuff. What do I do for a living? Well, currently I'm a student, but I hope to get into the field of counseling one day. As of right now, YouTube is my main supply of income, which really isn't a lot. If I could, I'd make this my full-time job and sustain off it. Believe me, I truly would. What is your favorite set in Magic and why? Well, my favorite set would probably have to be Innistrad. The entire block was just so much fun, and I don't really know why. It was at the high point of me and my friends playing lives. I played in tournaments, went to draft and events often. Other than that, I just really enjoyed the actual designs of the cards themselves. What is your favorite Ravnica guild? Hands down, it's gotta be the Simic. I even built a sick evolving deck for Return to Ravnica, which wasn't fantastic, but it was super fun to play. If I could, which plane would I visit first? Yeah, so that's a hard one, but I would probably say Zendikar, mostly because of its lush environment. I really love seeing wonders of nature, so I think Zendikar would be a great place to visit. What are some of your other favorite MTG channels? I watch a bunch of other channels dedicated to Magic. Some of my favorites are MTG Headquarters, The Mana Source, Tolarian Community College, and The Magic Man Sam. If you don't know any of those channels, I really suggest them for Magic content. What are some of your favorite games besides Magic the Gathering? I play a bunch of games in my spare time. Lots of League of Legends and Hearthstone. I've gotten into survival games recently with H1Z1, and I've also always enjoyed playing World of Warcraft. So that's it for this video, guys. I do have a lot more questions, but this video is already dragging on a bit and I still have to reveal my booster box contest winner today. So I'll save the remaining questions for another video down the road. Thanks to everyone who submitted questions. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in supporting future content. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.